have found something quite spectacular this week to play, amongst some other things. Now, you get shows that are, focused on cooking, politics, music, whatever. But I have found a show that focuses on wood. And that is the knock-on type, as opposed to any other, and I've made my dog bark, as opposed to any other type of wood that you might be thinking of. And I just found it absolutely amazing. And whether it's, I have sent you a clip, whether it's actually a real thing, whether it's some kind of straight man doing comedy, I don't know really.
And I have listened to it. It is not a show about woodworking. It is not a show about arborists talking about trees. These people just straight up love wood, whether it's still a living tree or in somebody's wood shop. Again, like I said, I know I just said wood shop, but they don't really talk a lot about what they make. They just talk about what kinds they like and what they use to make them with. It's one of the most fascinating podcasts I've heard in a long time.
And it's sort of like, it's mesmerising. Once you start listening, you can't stop.
You got that right.
There was 4 episodes. I've listened to them all, and I'm going back to listen to them all again today.
And the beautiful part is it's pretty bite-sized. I mean, they're about 11 to 15 minutes each. You can get through them all pretty quick, and it's a lot of fun, even if you hate wood.
Yeah. I mean, I'm into plastics myself.
So, I'm just sitting on the couch at home. Once again, by the plank wall, something I always like to display because I love wood so much. But we were just listening, me and the guys, me and Glenn and Gary, we're listening to one of the podcasts that we enjoy, one of our favorites by Jason Marshall, and We Don't Have Cookies. Kind of a funny title for a podcast. We're just kind of point blank with our wood enthusiasm, but we were listening to one of his episodes, and it was Independence Day. And we just kind of were gathered around, and we had some snacks, and we had some drinks, some soda, and some warm milk. And we were just talking about it, and then we decided to turn the episode on. So we listened to it. And we really enjoyed it. And all of a sudden, at about 8 minutes in, it comes up that they start talking about our program. And we were just floored, very honored that these guys would go out of the way to talk about our program. A few minutes into the conversation, there was kind of a joke made. And I believe it was a joke made at our expense. A man who I greatly and deeply respect, ChooChoo Stu. I deeply respect at the Podcast Factor, ChooChoo Stu, and at We Don't Have Cookies. Both incredible podcasts, one of our favorites, 2 of our favorites, my goodness. But here's the issue. During that conversation, Stu decided to say that he was a plastics man. And I don't find that funny. And I still don't. And actually, I get, my mild salsa gets a little bit picante, a little bit spicy, if you will, when people say something like that as a joke, because I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny to go there, to make that statement. And it upset me. But I wanted to say that I understand. I understand if that's where you are right now, and I hope as you continue with us in the community that we can kind of change that a little bit and bring you kind of from a plastics lover, ChooChoo Stu, ChooChoo Stu, to a true wood enthusiast that sees beauty in all things wood as really the one and only true, amazing, ultimate natural resource. And Gary and Glenn also, they watched it, and they had a few words as well. Just know that you're forgiven, and know that we are so humbled and so thankful. And actually, ChooChoo Stu was the one that offered us an incredible prize, a wonderful award, an award I still have in my trophy case. And my wife says, she says, take that thing down. And I said, no. I used color ink for my color printer to print that thing off. That's staying around, and it's real ink. It's the real stuff. I don't use ink filler. So, ChooChoo Stu. So we're thankful. We're struggling. We're struggling with the joke. That's the honest truth. We're struggling, but we're thankful. So thanks again, guys. And here's a message from Glenn Clutterbuck and Gary. Thanks, Larry. Just kind of, it's really hard. You think you know somebody, and then, ChooChoo Stu, just goes and says he prefers plastic. I don't know how. I don't know how you're supposed to react to something like that. I am I am I hurt? Maybe I don't. You maybe can't tell, but it's hard. This is something I've dedicated my life to. And he knows that. Like, he knows that, and yet he says it anyway, that he likes plastics. He knows. I get up, I go out, I spend hours hiking just to water trees, not plastic. Plastic? So I'm upset. I'm hurt. But I also understand that sometimes there's misunderstandings in friendships, and I want to give ChooChoo Stu the opportunity to explain himself. Was it a joke? It just seems like, why would you joke about that? Why would you joke about that? And
just make sure you put it horizontally.
Okay.
Gary,
Stu,
horizontally.
I don't think you
put it horizontally. Put the camera horizontally.
like this. Oh. See what you did? Like this. Then why don't you film it for me?
Because I can't. Just put it horizontally.
Like that.
Well, that's upside down.
Okay, I'll start it again.
That's upside down.
I have heard you are a plastic man. It's absolutely revolting. And from one man to another, I want you to know that that's not acceptable.
It's absolutely revolting.
Wood is a natural resource. So I don't know if you're being funny. If you are, that's not really a good joke.
It's absolutely revolting.
But it's. I wanted to send you a WSA, a wood service announcement, because I believe you truly need it. You consider yourself a plastic man, and I wanted to correct you and say those are oxymorons. This is plastic. See what I can do with plastic. Done. This is wood. It's actually that's a good plan. But anyhow, I'm just glad we're friends. I'm glad we're friends with ChooChoo Stu, and I'm thankful for his podcast. And if anyone knows anything about podcasts, it's ChooChoo Stu. So we're thankful. We're struggling. We're struggling with the joke. That's the honest truth. We're struggling, but we're thankful. ChooChoo Stu.